What's up, Daily Dylan here. So I'm here with Zack, and
Hello.
today we are talking about swimming. So, Zack, how did you feel about swimming? Being in high school for 4 years, swimming, and I know you've swam before high school too, right?
Yeah, I swam. I started swimming competitively when I was I would say 7 years old.
And how was swimming for? How long did you swim for? Since 7 till what? You just swam. Until high school.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So how was high school's experience compared to when you were younger?
When you were young, I was at the Y. I was swimming for the Y at the time, and I swam for the Y until high school. I quit the Y swim to focus more on high school. And there's a real big it's a big difference when you're in the Y swim and when you're in high school swim, because the Y was more, I would say, pushes you kind of. I wouldn't say high school swim didn't push you on beyond your limits, but the Y did it way more, and that was one of the things. And I was a lot older than some of the kids that I was on the team with, and there's different groups.
And I guess with the Y, it kind of you focus more on yourself, and when you're in high school you had a team, so it was
that's also a big difference too, because it was mostly the swim meets weren't about which YMCA is going to win. It's more of okay, time to get your personal best this meet, beat your time. And you get more variety of swims. You weren't this is your event. You'd have all these different events.
Okay.
You would swim.
Yeah, I never really grew up with swimming all my life. Just I only went to swim lessons when I was younger and all that. But I didn't really know about a swim team until high school. And then one day when my friend was just "Oh, I'm joining the swim team." I'm like, "We have a swim team?" So I joined it, and I loved it ever since. And I feel with just my experience with swimming, it's very different compared to other sports. You have a team, but it's kind of you had to pull your own weight to kind of like other sports too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's kind of you could easily mess up and just kind of fuck it up for the whole entire
Oh yeah,
the whole race. If you go too early, if you don't press the wall with two hands, if you're doing breaststroke or
getting DQ'd is one of the worst things ever.
Yeah. I only got DQ'd only for either not touching the wall with two hands, or I think one time I went early. And I always told everyone when I was when they were new to the team, it's better to go late than to go early and get DQ'd and everyone hate you because of it.
That's something you really need to practice with when you're in swim, it's you would think you would only practice your stroke and whatever, but racing wise, you got to practice your dive so you can get it on point, either with a relay dive, or because I know our coach practices relay dives a lot before big competitions, and just getting your dive on time as soon as that buzzer goes. That's a big part of it.
And really, I would always tell people too, when you would practice dives, because we didn't really get to practice dives that much.
Yeah.
And for our high school experience, we were on the same team, went to the same school. But I would see other teams, when they would practice, they would kind of practice in a way more technique. So I always saw people swing their arms around. My freshman and sophomore year, I'm looking at them like they're crazy. I didn't know what they were doing.
Well, it's more
on relays.
Relays, yeah. Swing your arms around. That's the proper way to do it.
Yeah, and I didn't know they were trying to go out farther and use some momentum.
It gives you a lot of momentum.
And I didn't know that until kind of the end of my junior year into my senior year. I thought of that. I'm oh my god, I could have done a lot more.
If a lot of people don't can't do it that well, and we'll do the regular swing your arms back. It's like, wow.
Yeah, a lot of times I saw a lot of people do different kind of techniques too when they're either diving in too. Either they would just stand there and then just go in, and sometimes they would just follow, and then do arms, then go in.
That'd be a lot with the timing. You gotta with the time with the relay, you need to be on point, because if you're too late, you could lose a couple seconds, or even 1 second. Make a big difference, and you can go too early during relays, which happens a lot. But people get DQ'd for that. So we practice a lot before big competitions, just finding out the person in front of you when they get exactly when they make it to the wall, so you can do the wind up, step forward, and go out.
So before going to high school swim, were you expecting anything different?
I was definitely expecting something different, because the club swim, I would think because I never done a school sport before high school. I never did any kind of. It's always been a club kind of thing for me, and I never done any school sports. So I was thinking well, this is gonna be different because it's gonna be more team centralized.
Yeah.
And I did think that way, and then ended up being that way. But my freshman year, I was more like an individualist, because I couldn't figure out where my place was in the team at the time.
Okay. And I guess being in high school swim, we had pasta parties too, so we got to really know the girl side and the guy side too. So that was Sean.
Okay.
So just I think the difference between the high school one too, you really got to know everyone from being at the pasta parties and kind of talking, and I really liked that, because I'd always ask the girls oh, what can I do to improve my breaststroke and all that.
Yeah.
Because when I was a sophomore and I first did breaststroke for, I think it was Jags.
Mm-hmm.
I think
the Jags meet. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I first did breaststroke. After that, I was just asking the girls oh, how do I improve on this? And then sometimes I would ask the guys and just different things. Because my freshman year we lost a lot of good people, so I mostly just asked the girls.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of community in our sport, and it's more. I don't know how to explain it, but we definitely have a family going, because I know a lot of other sports will have the boys centralized and the girls centralized, and it's more together. With swimming, how we'll have the boys and girls team always be cheering for each other, and we'll always be kind of interacting with each other, while some other sports will separate them, and they barely even know each other.
And there's nothing really you could do when you're actually in the race too. All you could do is just kind of yell and just be hurry up, the person's next to you is catching up.
Start banging on the block.
Just start saying come on.
That's what I would do all the time.
Yeah.
Just bang on the block, some loud noises.
Yeah, and then that's kind of it, except for other than the 500. You did the 500. I think I counted for you once or twice.
Yeah. Then I had you would usually have I usually asked the one guy on our team.
Oh yeah.
Dan,
yeah.
To count for me, and he was there till my senior year. So I don't know I forgot who I had for counting for me. I think it was just random people.
Oh yeah.
Who were just counting.
I think it was some girl.
But for the 500, that was my event, and I'm more a distance guy, and I was able to. What you can do for cheering for that is they have a counter, because they don't want the swimmers to count on their own, because doing 20 laps in the pool could be very confusing. So they have a counter, and they'll just dip it down in the pool with what lap you're on, 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, every odd lap, and they'll just be shaking it like a
when you're
maniac.
Almost done, or if you're right next to another person and you don't realize it because you're not looking to the side, obviously.
Yeah, that's
so,
what I would.
If you shake it a lot, that's telling them hurry up, you're almost there,
Yeah,
or go a little bit faster if someone else is catching up to you.
That happened a lot.
One time I messed up and I was flipping the wrong side, and I put 51 for like 15 and stuff like that. And I'm like, from this angle I couldn't really tell, but like it said 51 and I just messed up. I was counting for the girls. I made her do an extra lap.
Oh no!
And I felt so bad. I was like, oh. I texted her the next day and I was saying, oh, I'm really sorry. I'll buy you a call if you want. She's like, no, it's fine. Because they still counted anyway when she touched the block. She just had to swim an extra lap, and I felt bad because like she was probably tired. So I think after that I didn't mess up that bad. Like that was really bad. It was like 71, stuff like that.
I remember the one kind of team who put like there was like it was like 69 on his counter. And he put it down for me.
Oh yeah, because you have to like pay attention too. You can't be like looking up at the stadium, at the bleachers, looking at your team and all. You have to like look at your swimmer that you're counting for.
Yeah.
So
it'll get hectic.
Yeah. So this interview was a little longer than last interview, so I guess we'll call it to an end.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Daily Dylan here. So I hope you liked that interview today with Zack. Right now I'm having dinner right now, and my aunt right here, Tia. We used what's called bait, the squid bait, for our dinner.
Squid bait.
And it's delicious. So I hope you guys liked today's video. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.